Well, well, well. Ha! Look who I got
I
in
was
the
like,
hot seat.
did you see my text? I was like, let me get myself together because Jasmine and Terry were like glammed up. I was like, Jesus
Don't
Christ.
try it. Don't try it. First of all, Terry is
Man.
always fabulous. I've never known a time that she wasn't.
Exactly. Even
I tried
even
to
on her
come
day
out with
off.
the Brooklyn hoops, the New Yorkers right
Uh-oh.
here.
I got
I
the
was,
LA hoops.
Towalame,
I,
how
I
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm not bad. Things could be, I'm not going to say they could be better. I'm happy. Things are good right now. I can't complain at all. Is there an
Exactly.
echo? Is there an echo, Lena?
I don't
No?
hear the echo. Do you?
Maybe it's just me. I feel like I hear a slight echo. But she did the sound check, so we should be good. Last time I had a whole interview, I had to redo the whole thing because the sound was terrible. It was awful.
Oh no.
But anyway,
Um,
no, I think it's
you do
fine.
hear
If she
echo.
checked it and it was fine, it should be good.
Okay, cool.
Oh my God, I love the butterflies behind you.
I know. So I'm at my friend's house, but not home. But these are an artist by the name of Damien Hirst.
They're
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
beautiful. I
Yes, they're
absolutely
gorgeous,
love
right?
them.
I was like, let's gotta
So,
be more visual.
huh? It's so funny. I don't know if you've followed this series, but this was born out of obviously a celebration of women for March, for Women's Month. But I
Hmm.
wanted to kind of do something a little different. Like I wanted to celebrate historically the women who've contributed significantly to not only our community, but just to the world in general. But I also wanted to talk to girls that either I have kind of passed in my professional life, and ones that I've met through other people on a more personal level that I think are just fucking dope. And you were one of those people.
Thank you.
No, I really mean that.
Thank, I listen. I listened to your interview earlier with Terry, and I was thinking back. I was like, I know I met you through Terry, but I was just like, we just connected and just vibed out. And although we don't talk all the time, whenever we come together in those circles, we have a ball. That genuine connection where you feel like you can be yourself and be free around a group of women who aren't judging you, however you show up is how you show up. You can show up in your fabulous self or in your most non-fabulous self, but just like, hey, I'm going to be with my girls today. I'm gonna roll how I am. Come as you are.
Exactly. I
Um,
love that. And that's exactly how we met. We met at Terry's at one of her fabulous brunch soirees, by the pool, drinking probably a little too much. But
exactly.
um I it's funny as I get older, I realize just how precious those connections are. And that's not to say that when I was younger, I didn't know the importance of having, I don't even want to say girlfriends as much as I want to say sister souls. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
having a deep connection. Like you said, we don't talk all the time, but when I see you, I instantly feel like that's my girl, like right out the
Yep.
gate. I don't think about she ain't called me or but I don't even do that. There are some people I know that I am like that with. She got the nerve to call me. But you're not one of
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
people. You're one of those people that really, it's not about how often we speak as much as it is when we do break bread together. It really does feel like a meeting of the souls.
Absolutely. And I love that energy. I think, especially at this point in our lives where we're just like, listen, I want to be around true, authentic people. I don't have time to waste. I don't feel like managing personalities. I just want to be in a place when I'm hanging out with my friends, we are chilling. Associates, friends, associates, however you want to label them. I just want to be around a group of people that are there for the same purpose,
Yeah.
right?
And
And when we hang out, we're having fun or we're
that's
working
it.
out or whatever we're doing. Right?
But it's so
And that's it.
interesting. I will say this, you know, the thing that I cherish the most about this because I'm still pretty much a newbie in California in LA. So I'm still making my tribe that's still coming together. But the thing that I really love the most about the tribe that I have created so far is that when I met you, I didn't care and you didn't care about who I was outside of Jasmine. It was just Jasmine and Twale. That was
Yeah.
I didn't know what you did. I didn't know where you live. I didn't know any of that. And you know what? I didn't care. I didn't care
Yep.
anything about that. And it was the most
You know what?
liberating experience, right?
And you know what? It didn't even come to mind. You know,
Mm-mm.
I don't want to say I hate. Hate is a strong word, and I do believe words matter. But I'm not into like. So what do you do? And what do you do? Like, if we are there with a mutual person that we love, we know that this person is an extension of her, and or them or whoever it is, and we are there for that purpose.
Yeah,
I don't think we've even had a conversation about our professional lives.
never.
Obviously, now I know that you are a boss. I know that you are about your business and you are the best at what you do. And that wasn't even that, I didn't even have that information when meeting you. We were there for a common goal, and that was to have a good
To
time
have a good time.
or when we're celebrating. And we'll get to that. I believe that you learn a lot about people just by talking to them, right? Just
I
and
agree.
having conversations without the probing, right?
But I think once you
So
probe, to me, I the way my brain is wired, I instantly put you in a category. I don't tell you about it, but you have to climb your way out of that before I will even think of
mhm,
you in any other way. Because I feel like you
yep,
should want to know who I am first before you even care about who I am outside of my personal self.
yeah, yeah. It
And I
doesn't
think that
matter.
was one
It
of the
doesn't
things that drew me to you. We had a whole day of laughing and kikiing and talking about life, and work never came up. So
not
even
one.
listen, full transparency, because I believe in being honest, because I feel like I'm a whole grown ass woman. I can't get a whooping from my mama, so I'm good. My thing is, even when I was putting together my list, because I started this in March, like I said, and we're obviously in April. But it started off as being something small because I thought, okay, it'll be just,
Mhm,
a few people that, I know that I can think of off the top of my head. But my
mhm,
list was longer than the month. And I was concerned about, okay, well, you know how social media is and the whole algorithm thing. And I began to overthink it. And I was like, well, I don't want to inundate people with, information they may or may not care about. But then the more I did it, I realized I started this to honestly pay homage and give flowers to women that I think fucking rock. But what I
mhm,
found was it began to pour into my soul more than I thought. And I was like, you know
mhm,
what? Even though March is over and April is here, I'm going to continue to do this. And that way I don't have to feel rushed. I want people to see the fullness of the women that I wanted to highlight and speak with. You were right up there on my list. And the reason this was before I even knew what you did. I'm not even kidding.
yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
yeah.
Before I knew what you did. And it was because when I met you and then thereafter, you always had this quiet fire about you. And a Scorpio see fire and we like, okay. But you were always so graceful and elegant, but you said what you meant and you meant what you said. You know what I mean? And I love that. And you never asked me anything about who I was and what was my purpose here. You just welcomed me. And I feel as we get older as women, we tend to, I don't want to say catty because I think that's the wrong word, and it's a strong word, just like hate to me, because I think a lot of that can be equated. But I think that it's important that we realize we are only as strong as the sisterhood that we build around us. And if
Absolutely.
we put up these walls or these you have to meet this particular, level of whatever, or if you didn't go to an HBCU, or if you're not a member of a sorority, or if you don't work in entertainment, or if you don't live in this zip code. I think we rob ourselves of the opportunity of relationships that could possibly change our lives.
I agree. Well, I'm a Capricorn, so that's what you're picking up on. And it's the same thing, Jasmine. I remember and then we got on this group text, right? And it was just like, hey, come here, come to this party, come to that party. And we were just rolling out. And I remember, what was it? A couple, maybe the summer, maybe a couple summers ago, you had an event or a party at your house. I'm not sure what it was, if it was your
Yeah.
birthday. You had a DJ there. And one of my cousins was in town from Texas. So we're going back and forth, and we had planned to hook up. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go." She called me, and she's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm at my friend's house at a pool party." And then I came and I asked you, I was like, "Can my cousin come?" You're like, "Girl, yes." And I recently lost my father,
Oh my God,
and
I'm
I
so
was there.
sorry about that. I did not know that. I'm so sorry.
I know. I know it was a time, but I was back in Texas, and do you know she had told everybody about that story? She didn't know who you were either. She just said that her story was, she was at your house. It was beautiful. You had these two big ass dogs that we took for a walk, and she was at your house, and she had the best time of her life.
Oh my
And
God.
for me, that's all. I was like, "Yep, that's Jasmine.
I'm
That's
so
just Jasmine."
glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
and
I
she
love it.
I'll have to show you some pictures. You probably forgot because there's a bunch of people at your house.
No, no,
But
I remember when she
yes,
said she wanted to walk, I was like, you guys sure? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay.
yep, yep,
I
yep.
think that's
So
so cool.
anyway, that's that energy, that's that vibe.
I
And it
love that
wasn't like,
though.
and I didn't feel like, oh my God, obviously I was gonna, talk to you first. I was like, let me see. I was like, I think she'll be cool, but let me just ask. I don't want to just invite people, right? And you're like, girl, why are you? Yes, why are you
Well, because
asking so
I
I can?
think, well, first of all, I trust the people
Yes,
who are already in my circle. I already trust
exactly.
that if you are a friend of theirs, I believe they are an extension of you, and I do believe that they will have similar traits. And so I instantly felt no threat. I was like, of course, please, by all means, bring her. I don't
But
care. And my whole thing
that's
is
how
when you come here, have fun, act like you live here.
that's that energy you give. So that was that's what I've been attracted to since we've met. But yeah, we definitely have to make it be more intentional and hang out more.
We should. We
More
should.
excuses to hang out.
And you talked about your cousin having the time of her life. Over the course of your life, I mean, now that I have read about you, now what I do when I do interviews, I intentionally try not to probe too much, or just when I'm talking to people,
Mhm.
because I think it's better to allow information to unfold. Because I believe if you allow someone to talk long enough, you'll know exactly who they are and nothing,
Absolutely.
and I think it provides a more authentic connection. And so I wanted to at least know a little bit about what you did, because I was like, I don't know what Towalame does. I just know she's always getting awards and shit and on the stage. I know that. But when I look at your career, I'm like, well, first of all, I had no idea that you were in the area of philanthropy at the level that you are. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, that is so perfect because it matches the spirit that you have. And it made me
Hmm.
wonder though, when you look back over your life, do you remember, was there a moment that you said, I think I want to spend my life doing for others, not just, fixing plates on Saturdays after
Hmm.
church, but like actually, like, this is what I want to do for my life. I want to make sure that, I help people. Like, what made you, at what point did you make that decision and why?
That is a great question. I'm trying to figure out. So my I guess professional trajectory in the philanthropic space happened pretty organically. Like I started out volunteering with Magic Johnson Foundation. A girlfriend of mine was working there at the time. And then from there, I got hired with him, worked there 16 years. I was still in my early 20s. I don't think that I realized, I'm trying to think like when I actually realized, um, or when I said like this is going to be, I think the career chose me, honestly.
Mm.
I feel like I there wasn't one point where I said I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, or this is what I want to do. I think each job that I had was based in that skill set, and I made it um, my goal to make sure that whatever I do, I'm going to give it 1,000%. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it to the max that I can do it. I'm going to give it all I have. I'm going to know all the intricacies of the business. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to lean into it with curiosity. I'm available. I will help. Back in the day when there was Blackberries, yes, it was in the bed with me. I'll be there. I'll do it.
Ooh,
I got it.
blackberries.
How can I help? So, and I think just that energy, and then obviously once you're in it, it starts to like escalate, and I've always just been blessed, blessed in the sense that I've been able to work for amazing people, high profile
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah, you mean Jay-Z and Rihanna and going on DJ Khaled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just like when I say it chose me, it just sort of happened, Jasmine. It wasn't like I can't sit here and tell you I had a strategic plan. I had on a vision board that I was going to work for Magic Johnson, Rock Nation, Rihanna, and now Sony Music. That was not on my vision board. I will say that as I was in those positions, my vision was to grow and to be the best, and to uh, make sure that I'm operating at a high level, that I bring the best of me to these individuals that are trying to do good, with their money, with their time, with their resources, and to make it my business to make sure that they exceed, and that they succeed, and that I succeed in that space. It wasn't. I can't say that I had this picture of what that I was going to be, and working in philanthropy, and bringing humanitarian services to high profile individuals. I cannot sit here and tell you
But
that
you know what?
that was my
Sometimes, you know
goal.
what it is too, though? Sometimes I really think that, for instance, for me, like as a kid, I could not shut up. Like I just talked
Yeah,
all the time, but I didn't know you could get paid for it. I just like to run my mouth, even if it's
yeah,
just talking to me. And yes, I answer back. But I think sometimes when situations choose you, it could be something in your childhood that maybe you found joy in that you
mhm,
didn't know what to call it. Like, loving to help other people, or loving to see people smile, or
mhm,
maybe just a feeling that it gave you when you were assisting someone else. I mean, I don't know, but I think sometimes as we get older, we don't know what to call that which we were feeling when we were younger.
absolutely.
Like I'd never heard the
Yes, just
word, you know, philanthropy until college. Before that, I probably thought it was a fish. I was like, philanthropy? What is that?
mhm,
Oh, you mean helping people? But so I say that to say it
yes,
could have been
yes.
in you,
Just that
and
nurturing
maybe,
spirit, and that,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I
Mhm,
will say this, the one thing that I did read that made me, not that I didn't already respect you as a human and certainly as a woman, but just your, I call stick to itiveness, right? Being in the position maybe not as high as other people around you, but not allowing that
mhm,
to build a fence around you. Like you were determined
mhm.
to to climb. And
Yeah.
anybody who is in this industry can tell you, you need some thick boots to climb. Because it's going to be some people who try to
Oh,
kick you off. You know what I mean? It's going to be some people who
yeah.
mess with your self esteem. What would you say is the hardest battle you've had to fight to date?
I think I would say being put in power by my bosses, mainly Magic Johnson, at such a young age.
Mm,
When I was with him, I was in my I started mid to late 20s through my 30s, and almost late 30s, early 40s. So he walking in the room with him, as the executive director of his foundation puts you in rooms that you may or may not even be ready for. I have to, sometimes I was ready for being in that room and sometimes I wasn't. And when I say that, I was always prepared in terms of what my responsibility was in that room, right? To talk about what we're doing with the foundation. But when you're in the room in your late 20s, early 30s with Magic Johnson and people of his caliber, you
Right.
really got to be ready. And when you
Right.
open your mouth, you got to know exactly what you talk about, what you're talking about. And when they throw the baton to you, you better be able to catch it and you better run. You better be prepared. You
Yes.
better. So I feel like that catapulted that fire in me to just to make sure that I knew that he was going to have my back, right? And when he threw it to me, they were going to respect. And sometimes you walk into these rooms and they see, you know, a person of a young age or look young, right? Black don't crack all the
You
time.
do look 12. I'm not gonna
Right,
lie.
right.
I was gonna save that for
So
later, but you look every day of 12.
depending on how you wear your hair, like that kind of stuff. And those were never like, things that I was concerned about. But they'll say, "Oh, is is this your assistant?" And he's like, "Nope, this is the executive director of my foundation." And they're like, "Oh, okay. So you better be ready for that. You have
Yeah.
to be ready for that."
Oh,
Um,
without question.
and it
Ha-
wasn't something that I knew. It was just something that I picked up on and that I learned, and that you know, it it was
Have
just
you ever
something that
fumbled?
happened.
Have you ever fumbled that baton?
Yeah, absolutely. I fumbled, and he was there. He was there to pick it up if I messed up on something, or if I missed out information, or if I just didn't hit the point. Yes, I have fumbled.
Yeah.
Yep,
But I think
absolutely.
there's this
Learn from
whole
that.
yeah, I was about to say there's this whole conversation right now where there are certain states that are saying they will no longer allow participation trophies. That you
Mm,
have to win to get a trophy. And I get it. You have
mm,
people on every sides of it who say, well, it's unfair to, not award or reward someone who showed up for practice and they were at least on the team. And then you have other people who say, yeah, but they didn't win. Now, because I'm from old school, if you came in fourth place, there's no trophy for that. What there is
there
some
is
go practice harder and come back and try to win again. I mean, and so
lessons
I,
learned.
but I think part of that, which, in the society that we live in now, we know, you and I know, it's good to fumble because you do learn from
Mhm.
that. And if you
Yeah.
are rewarded or people are giving you accolades when you don't even try and fumble, right? And I
Mhm.
think it's okay to get spanked in public. I mean that in a
Mhm.
professional sense, but I think that's okay because it does. It teaches you and it makes you say, okay, you know
Yeah.
what? That will never happen to me again.
Yep. And if you're honest with yourself, right? I believe the worst person you can lie to is yourself, right? So you also have to realize um, when you fumbled,
Yeah.
and you have to say, what did I miss? How could I have been better prepared? How do I think about that next time? The next time I'm in this situation, what would I do? So that's the only way you can learn. Other than that, it's false hope. If you get a trophy in first place and you're saying the standard for first place is here, but you're rewarding this person without any context, they're going to think that that's first place next
Yeah,
time. They got
exactly.
they
They're
got the
setting the
same
bar.
trophy. They got the same trophy that you had.
You're right.
So
You're absolutely
um,
right. And I mean,
yeah,
you
I think you.
listen. I've watched you. I stalk you on social media. I see you're always getting awards. You're always being recognized. I'm like, damn, save some trophies for somebody else. But in all the accolades and all of the titles and the applause, what is your proudest moment of your life? And it doesn't necessarily have to be professional. It could be something personal. It could be something with your family. It could be something with your friends, or it could be professional. What's the proudest moment of your life?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Moment. One moment. I think just those accomplishments. I think I am, and you mentioned like all the accolades and all the awards. I, I like typically shy away from that stuff. Honestly, like it's not something that people are like. Oh, you have to sell. I'm learning to celebrate myself and learning to
Yes.
celebrate my wins. I've always been this person behind these big personalities, these big figures, these big and not to say that I've ever wanted to be out front. I'm actually comfortable behind the scenes. So I have to challenge myself, right? Because you don't want to get too comfortable, right? Complacency is a dangerous space
Yes, it
sometimes, right?
is.
So I have to like personally challenge myself to be like, oh, this is a good moment for me, or accept that. So someone compliment you're like, oh yeah, but it's not. Like accept the compliments, right? Accept the awards and accept the acknowledgement. So I think that that's something for me that I'm still uh, working on. So when you say what's the proudest moment, I think hindsight, I'm proud of all the moments. I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. I'm proud of my drive. I'm proud of my work ethic. I'm proud of my accomplishments. And when you have when now, like at where I am now, it's a really big thing, these accolades, and they celebrate women and music and entertainment, and and these types of things. And I think that's great, and those are proud moments too. But I'm proud of like smaller moments as well. I don't have any like one particular moment. I think just in terms of how I've processed things in receiving these accolades um, in the past, it's for me to even acknowledge that I'm proud of those moments is a proud moment, right?
You
And
should.
just
I mean, I definitely think that you
really,
have some people
yeah,
who are constantly touting everything that they do. But I think when
I
you
know.
consider how hard we as women have fought to be in this space, period, right? To even be at the title that you are. To me,
Yeah,
I look at it like it is the ultimate vision of what God had for me. And so I don't want to
absolutely.
dim that light. I want people to see, as long as I make it clear, I didn't do this on my own. This is not just
Yeah,
me. So these accolades that you are pouring on me, these trophies and certificates, they're not just for me. They are for me and all my sisters and the people who came before me. So I'm always happy to get a trophy or two. I'm always happy when somebody says my name, because I know, not from an
yeah.
ego standpoint, it really is me saying we did it.
Yes,
Again,
yes,
one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here is because I feel like when I see you succeeding, I am also seeing a version of myself. So I can't help but
absolutely.
cheer you on.
Yes.
And so I think those
Yeah.
moments are important, because as I've told every woman that I've spoken to, I think that it is it can be tiresome to
Mm-hmm.
always have to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
instead of just being able to just, you know what I mean? But to always have to be on, and to always have to be
Yes.
strong, and to always have to walk into these rooms where I would imagine, you could be the most powerful person or sitting next to the most powerful person. And there's a particular way that you have to move. And so for me, it's like, I want to be able to celebrate, to let them know you're not alone, that you never walk into a room alone, because we are always cheering you on, even if it's in spirit. You know what I mean? And I think it's important that we let each other know that.
I love that, and I've been leaning into that more. And you talk about being tired. I think during the pandemic, during COVID, when everything completely shut down, just like before that, over my career, it was like go, 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 like literally go, like high caliber, high performance, 24/7, 365, go. And then everything shut down, and it takes a minute to like wind down, and then finally, I was like, oh, I love this. It is quiet time. I'm not getting dressed in my car trying to go to the next event, or taking my clothes to the office, or preparing to travel, or stuck in the airport, or the hustle and bustle. I was like, I do not miss the hustle and bustle.
I love
And
the hustle.
I really took that time to sit back and to reflect. And coming, I was sad when things opened up again.
I'm not gonna lie, I was too. I'm not gonna lie, I was. I was kind of sad. I was like,
Wait, what? No, don't open back up yet.
well,
Because
because
I
I
was
felt
just
initially like you,
it
I
gave
felt
me that
guilty at
time.
first. Yeah, I felt guilty, like
Yeah,
I should be doing something. Am I gonna get in trouble? Like, I mean, not
yes,
trouble, but I just felt that fear. And then once I
yeah.
unwound, I was like, I'm not doing nothing all day.
It just gave me the time to sit back and to think and to reflect. To your point, to like lean into these moments, to think about what my next move was going to be versus just like these knee jerk reactions that were always happening, and then your brain just going 24/7. So I really enjoyed that time, and it gave me a time to just reflect and finally be very intentional
Mm,
about friendships, about relationships. And I'll keep referencing your interview with our friend Terry, talk about putting on these capes and purging. So it really gave me some time to sort of really like think about all that stuff and really lean into it. And I just think like over my career, I've actually enjoyed what like I enjoy my work. I've been I wouldn't say that I would change some things, obviously, right? Because we know and we grow and we learn.
right, of course.
But I wouldn't change my trajectory. I wouldn't change um, the path to how I got here because I think that every position that I was in, every company that I worked for, every person that I worked for taught me something that was really invaluable about work ethic and really working your way to the top and really just saying when you're and listen, I'm like, there's still places I need to go, things I need to do. Like this is a great position to be in, and it's finally a time where I can sit and like, okay, I see why I'm in this position, and I see
Mm,
why how I got here, and why I'm here, and not letting the term sort of imposter syndrome sort of sink in. And I think that when it happens that fast, if you don't take the time to really uh, and at that same at a certain caliber, like again, I feel very blessed. Like everyone doesn't have this trajectory. It's a very unique
it
trajectory
is.
that I on, and um, I feel like it to your point, it was meant for me. It was meant for the type of person that I am, for the type of drive that I have. It's not for the faint of heart. You have to have tough skin.
Yes.
And I learned those lessons as I was in it.
Right.
There was no different,
Right.
I feel proud of those moments, and I am thankful and really kind of leaning into um, the notoriety now, right?
Mm, yes.
And in the position that I'm in, and just interfacing with amazing people like you. I've always been blessed to have amazing people in my life and amazing support groups. And I feel good. I feel like I'm in a good place, and
What's your overall goal? Where would you like to see yourself? Like, I know
oh,
people hate to,
I know you're
because
gonna ask
even
me that.
I hate it when people say, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I was like, well, I hope on this planet alive. I don't know. But just
Oh,
short term, like for you, if you had a magic wand, you know, and you could be anything, be anywhere, do anything, what would it be?
Um, ultimately, I would love to have a moment where I am just a philanthropist. Well, where I'm able to just like give out millions of my own personal wealth, like a McKinsey Gates, or
Yes, right?
be in be in those positions to be able to make an impact. And I feel like you asked me earlier, like in terms of like that pivotal moment, and being able to say that I get to go to work, I get to, and I have since a very early age in my early 20s, make an impact in people's lives. I didn't realize it back then. For me, it was work and it was fun and it was something new, and I was, you know, um, doing. all these great things and just enjoying um, life in that moment, both personally and professionally. Um, but making an impact, right, and doing it at a level that is that's actually, making a change. It takes millions and billions of dollars to reverse us out of these systemic issues that we're in around racism and the
Yeah.
environment and as people of color and all these things that are happening in the world. So to be able to say that I did that at a level where I was in the community in the trenches with certain organizations to where I am now with Sony, to being able to do that on a global level. We're in 7 regions, 60 countries around the world, and to be able to touch lives across the globe is feels really good. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I would love to be able to do that in an even more impactful way
I
if
think
I
that's
can.
so awesome. I think a lot of people, since I was a kid, the whole, give us just 3 cents a day, or all of those things that you've heard your whole life about giving. And, I've seen so many organizations, and I think individually part of the problem is you feel like I'm not enough to help because it seems like everyone around you needs help. There's always some
Mhm.
organization that needs, and it's like you want to help, but you don't know where to start, how to start. You see all of this stuff on TV, and then you find out that this may not have been, as legit as you thought, or then you feel like, I feel so guilty. I'm constantly giving, but this person is never getting better. But I obviously know that that does not mean you give up hope, but in terms
Yep.
of all of the organizations out there, which one just really hits home for you? Is there one particular cause that you
Sure.
just, I will always wave the banner for this particular thing?
I don't think that there's one particular cause. I think that I try and be as charitable as I can, just daily. You mentioned just, it helps if you give $1 to the homeless person. Like, listen, I want you to get food with this. What they do with that money at that point is you hope they go and get food. But if they don't, then you're helping like that's who you are. So I don't think that there's one particular cause or organization. I've been able to kind of work across all sort of social causes, um, health, injustices, environmental injustices. I mentioned I lost my father a month a couple months ago,
That's crazy.
and that was ultimately what it came down to was kidney failure. So even then, as we were planning his obituary, I was like, what's an organization we can give to? Don't send me no flowers. I don't want any, I want to, make a donation to this organization to help someone else that's in this position, where they're on dialysis. He had been on dialysis for years, and with dialysis, they basically you have to go every day. They take your blood out, put some new blood in. Take some blood out, put some new blood in. And if you don't get a transplant, then
Yeah,
that's your life,
yeah.
and for until the end of your life. And ultimately your body can't handle that. So it's you know what happens ultimately. So I wanted to just do something. I was like, and I also had a cousin that passed away of ultimately the same thing, needed a kidney transplant. So I was like, listen, if we could help a family, a person that that can't get to dialysis, if they need transportation, because a lot of times it's you know people have, because it's so frequent, you have to be picked up and dropped off. So even just something like that, where
Yeah,
it's I told my
anything.
friends, send me flowers, make a donation to this organization, raise money, and let's help someone else, right? So I think it's just part of
I think
who I
that's so
am. And
beautiful. And again, my
and
condolences about your dad.
thank you.
I lost my dad years ago, but it still feels like yesterday. what would you
Yeah.
say is the most valuable lesson that he taught you?
Um,
Or what memory
my dad,
that you just, you think back to him when you're in that situation?
yeah, I would say my dad loved hard. My dad had, there's eight of us, so Papa was a
Damn,
roller
daddy.
daddy. But he loved his kids,
Mm,
and he was so proud of his kids, and it was something that he cherished. And I would just say to love hard, and I do love hard, and I would say one of the things that I learned, most about him, in his passing, was that his family loved hard. They loved him hard, and they loved their family hard. And it's almost like that Kardashian love, right?
mm.
It's just like you fight, but guess what?
But you
Nobody
still
else is is
love.
is you still
Yeah.
love.
Well, with a
You love
loving
hard.
heart comes heartbreak. I mean,
It comes.
I
Yes,
mean, and
yes.
I'm sure, like
It's a
most
beautiful
women, you've
thing.
had your heart broken before.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
but you learn from it,
yep.
right?
You learn from it, but even though you had your heart broken while you were in it, while you were loving heart, it felt so good,
Yeah.
right?
Now
And
I'm trying
and
to
I
stick
would
to that.
I wouldn't change that. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, right? Just in terms of
Yeah.
break, and do you never ever go after that good part of what you had with that person before the heartbreak? Do you not try to find that? Do you not try to find that again?
I mean, if you think about it though, there are some women who have been broken so badly that they are like, cuz listen, I think one of the most courageous things that you can do is to love. Like to love for
Yeah,
real. It is cuz what you are basically saying is how you feel about me is really none of my business. I'm just telling
yeah,
you I love you.
mm,
And for some
yes.
people, being that
It may
vulnerable
not be
and that
reciprocated,
courageous,
right?
it's a very difficult
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing. I I just feel like I'm gonna go into it with good intentions,
Mm,
right? And if you don't love me back, then it's my responsibility to see that. That may or may not change my love for you. And if you don't love me back, then you won't get the best of me. You miss out. Guess what?
wow.
Then you miss out.
See, you're philanthropic even in that area. I'm learning that. I'm learning that.
That's
But
my heart.
for
I want
me,
to talk to you.
it's really it's an ego thing.
It's
It's an
over.
ego, and I will be transparent because you my girl. It is
Yeah.
also a fear thing. I feel as though
Yeah.
for me, the way I started, right? I was already in the deficit. I feel like I was born broken. And so it took
Mm,
me a number of years to put myself back together again. And so now my fear is I don't want to be broken again. So I have
yeah.
that runaway bride syndrome. I let you get right to the altar. And then I put my sneakers
And you're
on and
like,
run. But what
Jasmine.
how important is love to you in your life now as a whole grown woman, as a whole successful woman? Where does it rank in terms
So
of priority?
I think there's many forms of love, right? So you can love someone and not be in love with someone. Like I
Mm,
think you're talking about whether family love or in relationship love. So I think there's many forms of love. I think love is a priority for me. I have to love you to spend time with you. I have to love you to care about you because you know, I'm not a pretentious person, right? So if I don't like you, listen, I'm a Capricorn. I'm cordial, and I'll just like,
I've seen that
hi,
look. Like,
and let
hey,
me go over here,
yeah.
right?
That
Hey, how are
it's
you?
that short smile.
Great.
Mm.
The short smile,
The short smile, yeah, yeah. But I think,
right?
but my thing
So
is, I
so
I feel as though we, as women, have earned that right. I think when you become a woman of a certain age, I think you've put up with enough stuff, and now you're like, you know what? I have probably more years behind me than I do in front of me. And so, or at least I'm at the halfway point. So, you know what? I've made all those mistakes. I dealt with all of that. Now, moving forward, the more you know, right? So now I'm not, if I don't want to, if I don't want to be in that space of negativity, I won't. It's a choice that I have, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
I
And you
think
learn
that's
how to
important.
protect your heart. You learn
Yeah,
how to protect yourself. But I don't think that I don't think that you cut that off for you, because if it's really something that you want, I think you go into it knowingly and aware and informed,
yeah, yeah. And you
right?
have that love
Which
for
you can.
yourself, right? You have that love for
Yes.
yourself. How do you
Yeah.
pamper yourself? Would you ever travel alone?
Oh, see, I don't know. I haven't. I think it's more so because I'm just like, uh, I like people. I'm social.
That's
I
how I
like
am.
somebody, a sister, a cousin, a friend, somebody. I admire people who travel alone.
I do
I,
too.
you
I,
know,
I couldn't do it.
you
I
couldn't.
admire them. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I love to
I
talk.
don't want to do it. We
Yeah,
probably
me either.
can do it. I have no interest in.
Mm-mm.
I mean, like, because we travel alone for like short trips or professionally, but to go on a vacation for 2 weeks by myself to some remote part of the world, no, thank you.
2 weeks. I was thinking
No,
I
I
wouldn't go
want to
alone
share.
two
I want
days.
to share. I'm a
Uh-uh.
sharer. I like to.
I'm not. I
I'm sharing.
love
Just need to share those shoes back there. So let me know what size you wear.
First of all, since the pandemic, half these shoes I can't wear anymore. My feet hurt too bad.
Oh my gosh.
Forever
Oh
the
my goodness.
sneaker,
That's a
forever the sneaker. I I
that's a shame.
I just adore you, Twalame. I think that in
Happy
my
for
circle of
you.
friends, I feel blessed to have met you, and not just met you, but because in this industry or just in general, you meet a lot of people. They like, oh hey, I know her, and you give them that short smile. Not that they did anything wrong, but you don't want to invest, the time. But I feel so lucky to have met
Same.
such a quiet fire, but such a warm soul. I think that there is
Aw.
something about you that is soothing when even in the midst of our craziness, and we are having a blast. Now you get crazy too, but
Oh
it's such
yeah.
a I don't know. I really enjoy being in your company, and I had to talk to you because I wanted to just let you know that from my lips to your ears, that A, I think you fucking rock. That B, the stuff that you do does not go unnoticed. I try to support you with my little likes and my checks, and go on,
Yep.
girl, and my little fire flames or
Yeah.
whatever to say you're
Yep.
looking good. I'm so proud of you, and I'm hoping that you can feel that. And I'm also hoping that this whole woman to woman series will remind us the importance of reconnecting and checking in, and not just on. I think there is a huge misconception that you got to check in on your strong friends. I think you also have
Yeah.
to check in on your friends that seem happy all the time.
Yes. Can
You
we
got to
talk about the
check in
word
on us.
strong, independent? Well, that's another conversation. I don't want to be strong and independent by myself. Like you, listen. We'll
I'm with
talk
you.
about that. But
I'm with you.
I think the feeling is mutual, Jasmine. This was so fun. I enjoy your presence. You are amazing at everything that you're doing in your professional career, personally, and just thank you for being so like accepting and so. Just thank you for being you. Thank you for
Oh, I
being you.
received that. I
Um,
received that because I know I'm a lot. I'm a lot when I come in. I
I
I,
don't get
I
that.
expect a
I don't
lot. I
get.
want a lot. But I've been that
Listen,
way since I was a little girl.
but I haven't. I don't think it's a lot. It's who you are.
Yes,
We all
I'm winning.
have our things. And nope. I think when you come, you bring the energy. I'm like, yes, Jasmine's here. We're gonna have fun because
We
I'm a
are.
party girl at heart. So
That's
yeah.
it. And the summer is coming. Summer is coming. Summer water for us,
Listen,
better known as
I'm ready.
rosé.
I'm ready. I'm ready. We love the water. We are in the
Oh, we
sun and in the water.
do indeed. Thank you, Tawalame. Just like the butterflies
Thank
behind you,
you.
I just adore you. Thank you for taking the
Aw.
time out.